Hello everybody, this is Carl from Hi-Tech CNC Machine Shop. We are a precision CNC machine shop located here in Mount Vernon, New York, supplying the local tri-state area and anywhere in the country. If we can ship it, we can make it. So I'm going to be talking today a little bit about American-made products. One of the industries we work for is the optical components industry. So we make a lot of the barrels, optical barrels, the aluminum parts, stainless steel spacers, washers, threaded rings, experimental optical components, motion control, all kinds of things like that. We manufacture all those parts for companies that design them, assemble them, and then they call us for parts. So we wanted to give you today a little insight onto the equipment that we use. Like behind me is the Hitachi Seiki CNC lathe. In my opinion, one of the strongest, best machines they made in decades. Strong ways, which is basically the steel supports underneath. This holds tolerances of like 1 to 2/10. I mean, easily. Unfortunately, they had a financial situation back in 2001 when the stock market went down, and due to different machine manufacturing companies, they got taken over. And but in my opinion, this controller, the screen over here that does programming on it, one of the best. I mean, I love it. I can run this machine with eyes closed. But the tolerances are just incredible, and that's why I continue to use this machine, and I bought another one because they just do such quality, great work, reliable, and you don't have to worry about it. So I'm going to show you today a little bit on one of the jobs we working on is a optical zoom barrel that goes in and out. Wanted to show you the material that we make it from, the tolerances that we hold, and the quality that goes into it. This way, if anybody out there, you need any machine shops, you need any custom-made parts, you need any, you're not happy with suppliers or the quantities or the quality you're getting, we've been here for over 45 years manufacturing for optical industry, automotive, motorcycle, motion control, medical. We've done it for a ton of industries. So let me flip the camera around and show you some of the parts we're working on and how everything is involved. Let's go to the other side. Welcome back. Okay, here is an example of the optical barrel that we manufacture and everything involved with it, how we measure it, the way we test it. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. First, we have the blueprint, which is what the customer or you would send us if you want to make something. So over here, as you can see, the closest thing about this is the inside over here. They have a little bit of a step, and the other side on the outside has to go inside of the outside barrel. So this is the part we're manufacturing, goes inside. Has to be super smooth, and tolerance has to be super tight. So they ask for a 1000 tolerance. So it's 0.1 inch 373 to 374. But the anodized builds up 310. So 30% of that gap is going to be taken up by the anodized. So we have to compensate for that. So I make notes in the print. Keep low on the outside and keep high on the inside, because I know these things through 45 years of experience on when you're assembling parts and you're anodizing afterwards, the buildup that's involved with the finishing. That's what goes behind manufacturing after you have decades of experience. So we manufacture, we make the first half on the CNC lathe over here. So we would make the whole part, then it would get cut off, goes into the bucket. This is all the tools that we use, the roughing inside tool. This drove's from another operation. Grooving inside tool, threading inside tool. Here we use a 32 pitch thread, which is a pretty good thread for optical components. 32 is a pretty standard thread. Here is the micrometer we use to check to the 10th, which is the 4th decimal place. We keep it within 2/10 to hold the size. This way, when we're done, the tolerance between the two is perfection, because we have to make also a spiral groove on it. That's on the blueprint over here. That's the spiral groove. On the PDF, we use standard PDFs. 3-dimensional CAD prints people want to send us is good for if you want to make mold making or engineering sub-assemblies and things like that. We don't use them because if you're going to do high volume manufacturing, it has to go fast and it has to go perfect. And usually 2D prints is perfect for what we need, because we don't do 3-dimensional milling here because that's very slow and very expensive. And for a production, it's just not feasible unless you're doing a one-off, and it doesn't matter if it costs $10,000, because a 3-dimensional, or like let's say a 5-axis milling machine costs hundreds of thousands of dollars, and the operational time on that machine is in the hundreds of dollars so per hour. So you don't, unless you have some super high-end components that require all kinds of weird angles and everything, and there's only one way to do it, that's fine. But we try to make things as straightforward as possible, as simple as possible, to make it the best way possible. So first we make the blank, we deburr it. What we do is we bring it over to this machine over here, and we set it up on an internal expanding collet. So what happens is we slide it on to this part over here, goes on, and then with a little pressure it expands and it holds it on. And then what we do is we cut it down to the exact size to within 1,000. And then once it's cut to size, these are the parts that are not cut yet. Then we, again, the same type of deal over here. We put it over here. Maybe I'll show you an example. So we put it on this equipment here. Go out. This is literally a Harburger Swiss, like a tool room lathe, and it is about 50 years old. But the thing is, they made great things 50 years ago. So this machine we use to do like deburring and secondary operations. So then we spin it up, and then with a little bit of a scraper. Right now it's wobbling for some reason. So I'm doing this one-handed, so bear with me here. Yeah, it wasn't sitting right. Okay. Okay, now it's running smooth. Yeah. I can tell when something's not running smooth, that's not good. So we'll use a scraper, which is a small file tool here. We'll barely touch the outside, barely touch the inside. Then we'll polish it a little bit with a little bit of Scotch-Brite, the end, the inside, because we know everything has to be super smooth. And that's it. Then when you feel it, it's like glass. Perfect. Everything. And this is the kind of example of attention to detail that we go through to make sure everything is perfect. Then once that's done, then we'll go over to our fourth axis machine. We do have fourth axis machines. That expanding arbor would actually go into this piece of equipment, and then we would install it the same way you just saw on the other machine before when I was deburring it. It would go in there, and then this piece of equipment here is an automatic, it turns the part automatically. See the cable that goes in? This is all CNC controlled. So as the machine would cut into the groove, it would spiral apart, and then we would cut across it to make that spiral groove. Yeah, so that's how that spiral groove. So as it was cutting, this thing would turn by itself to the exact way we programmed it, and then the machine, the head would turn at the same time, and it would make that spiral cut. And we go back and forth and rough it and finish it, and then we deburr it, and everything comes out to perfection. And then again, we make sure it's polished, everything is finished. We double check it again, then we send it out to the finishers. So guys, that's a little bit of a preview of the machining operations on the optical components that we make. Everything is made in-house in Mount Vernon, New York, CNC equipment. I'm going to give you a little bit. I don't have any extra components I can really show. But yeah, like here's another example of a part that we make. Again, a small little optical part. That's one of the pieces that goes into that assembly. Again, there's a barrel on the outside, a little barrel that slides over this. There's little threaded rings that go inside of here, spacers that take in, all kinds of equipment. So I hope you enjoyed the shop tour over here on manufacturing in America. If you need anything at all, please go to our website, on the bottom of the box, information box, www.hightechcncmachining.com for your optical, mechanical, any kind of components, manufacturing requirements you need. We're here to help out. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.